in 1998, I was incarcerated. And also during my incarceration, first time I read a book, I was excited. I read because I wanted to work on I think it was 3 or 4 things. I wanted to strengthen myself mentally, physically, and spiritually while I was in jail. So it was 3 things. So I started reading. I read a book. It was called Diversified Industries. I remember to this day it was a novel. And I'm not even into novels, but it was my first time reading the whole book. So I was very excited about it. And I'm under my covers at night reading the book. And there was my TV. It was everything. It was me just getting away from the world, escaping. So now I'm working out every day, and now I'm going to church services. But I was only going to church services so it could look right in front of the judge, because I wanted to impress the judge, because they look at all your records. So now I wanted to, so that when he looked at my records, he was like, okay, well, he could get out, early, release. And he's fine. He's rehabilitated. No matter how slick you are, you always feel that I can't outslick God. So at that point, I was like, wait a minute, I'm tripping. I can't con God. I felt I could con anyone. I could get over on anyone. So I stopped going to church services because I felt that I was doing something wrong. Okay. So at this time, I stopped going to church services, but I continued everything else. So now God called me to church. So now I'm going to church services because I was called opposed to me going there just to be deceptive. So now I started a prayer group in my in my dorm. So it started off with just 3 men we was in the utility closet. And by the time I left, it was about 85 of us just squeezed up into the utility closet every night praying to God. But there was a little problem. I had a couple kilos hidden on the street waiting on me for when I got out. I get out of jail. I meet up with a friend of mine. He said, man, we moving 50 keys a week now. I was like, whoa. He's like, you can get however many you want. I was like, whoa. So now I moved from buying 2 kilos a week to being able to get the half of 50 a week. I get back into the streets. I get way deeper into the drug game. And I remember one day I was driving down the street, me and a friend of mine, we had like 20 kilos in the car. I had 2 guns on me. I know he had a gun on him, so we had at least 3 guns in the car. And I was just keep saying, I need Jesus. I need Jesus. It was just something inside of me because I wasn't at peace. Yes. So I was keep crying out that I needed something different than what I had. So shortly thereafter, I just went. Everyone thought I went crazy because I started calling people who owe me money. You don't owe me no money. I'm out the streets. I'm out the game. It was in '99. I gave my life to God. I got out the streets, got out the game, and then I started a family. I got married, started a family, and that was something that I always wanted because I didn't have that growing up. I didn't have that family unit. Like I speak about so often, our families are broken. Right. In so many ways, not just the men not being in the home, not just the woman not being in the home. Our families are broken. The teachings are broken. We teach our children outdated teachings. We teach them methods that was important for when we were slaves for our survival. We teach them now in a time when we're not slaves, but it's not. It's hurtful to us now. At first, it was meant to it was our parents. It was important that they talk down on us, talk bad about us in front of the slave master, so that slave master won't sell us to another plantation, so that slave master won't take advantage of our daughters. But after we was emancipated, and even after the civil rights era, we were still talking down on our kids. We were still teaching our children to be violent. We were still, calling them bad names. So the teachings were still broken, although we were freed. We never cleansed the teachings and rebuilt the family unit. So no matter what we go through, my personal story, all the obstacles I had to overcome, God has a tendency to bring us back to our natural state of mind. So in that point, that's when we have to reach people. We got to plant those seeds along the way, and then if we could reach them when they get back to their natural state of mind, then we could find that true rehabilitation. The penitentiary system didn't rehabilitate me. It wasn't a rehabilitation in the penitentiary system, because I know a lot of bright brothers that's been in the penitentiary and got out, and they had to convert themselves over in their mind and make a decision in their mind that they wanted to do something different.
Sure. If they didn't rehabilitate you, who did and how? It had to come with, I'm sure, some self-fulfillment within you.
I had to finally accept myself and become happy with who I am, I was always chasing something. I always wanted a family. I always wanted to be accepted, as we all do. Really, our kids, our babies want to be accepted. So we always want to do what's cool, what's hip, what's new, what everyone else is doing. All of us do. We all have some form of peer pressure. And I was always considered as a leader, and I still wanted to be accepted into certain groups, certain societies. So once I found out to myself that all of it was false, once I took a look at things and I wasn't happy, I didn't find peace in the things that I was doing, I still didn't have fulfillment. Even when I gave my life to God, to be honest, and it's been all the way honest, I still didn't have the 100% fulfillment because I didn't know who I was as a black man.
Okay.
Once I had my son, and I wanted to give him every single thing you could give a person, not the material stuff, so I wanted to give him so much love and just teach him. I look at my son as if he is brighter than Einstein. He's 8 years old, and I think he's the smartest thing you ever seen in your life. I speak so highly on him, and I raise him to be so intelligent and be such a man. I teach him the things that he would need for manhood. I love him. I hug him. I kiss him. I talk gentle to him. I don't yell at him. I don't. He's not deserving of spankings or whipping. I just tell him, Junior, that's not appropriate. He changed his path and he redirected his behavior. So it took me looking into his eyes and realizing what I wanted for him, and kind of like living my life through him in a sense. So it was having a child, knowing that it was a blessing from God. What changed in me, what inspired change in me, is there was always something inside of me that wanted something different. So I don't think there was just this big change that opened my eyes and let me see the world differently. The change that happened was me doing the wrong when I knew what was right in the beginning. Okay. So it was just me converting back to what I knew was right. I always wanted to be out of the ghetto. I always knew that our people shouldn't be in this condition. I just didn't know why. I couldn't put my finger on it. Sort of like when I took my son to Atlanta and he was asking those questions, why? I didn't have no one I could talk to and say, Mama, Daddy, why is this? Why is that? Because at that time, it wasn't in the way I was brought up. Those questions wouldn't have gotten answered. That would have been just, it don't matter. It would have been brushed under the rug. So now when I say I could live through my son, now he could ask me questions, and I can remember myself wondering those questions as a child. So that what's changed in me is that which has always been in me. It just came out. I stopped trying to be something I wasn't to allow that which I was to actually come out. I think all of our children, every one of our children, they have something in them. They're all bright, but we put so many facades in front of them. We have to stop getting in the way of our children with a lot of the falsehoods that we see every day in our communities. Where we're raising our children to be tough and violent. We got to get over that. Let these kids be kids. Right. Let them explore inside of themselves and be who they are on the inside.
Looking at just here in Missouri alone with the statistics rates and the overcrowdedness of the prisons, what would you say actually in that instance would be the better way to reestablish the role of the black male coming out of the institution back into society because of the lack of programs that are there?
I think it's going to take people like you and I. It's going to take individuals to build programs so that we can educate the people that's coming out of the system. I think we need to partner up with the Board of Probation and Parole. We need to partner up with the halfway houses and put together programs where we can educate these black males along the lines of job training, teaching them about entrepreneurship, teaching them their role in the household, teaching them about parenting. I think all those things are going to be very important in order to integrate them back into the normal society the right way. So I don't think that we have to wait.
How can we make a better reestablishment for children to be able to be involved with their father while they're there prior to them coming out, to have that relationship continue on?
Once again, we have to establish programs that will address those issues. So we have to put together programs in the communities. We know where these children are, so we have to go knock on the doors, and we have to let the moms know, let the grandparents know, whoever have guardianship over that child, let them know we have a program where we can take them into the prison prison institutions, talk to the prison institution, let them know what we're doing, and put together programs where it won't just be a child going to see their father, but it'll be more so of an educational piece that's involved in it, where a child become more engaged with their father, and that father's role is still established, where that father, and even while in the penitentiary, need to learn his parental roles. So we need, in that program, we need to make sure that it's designed that the father understand his roles as a parent, and then when that child come into the prison system, to be introduced to that father under his father roles, then it'll be easily, when that man come out of prison, that child and that man, their bond would be there. It'll be a little bit more seamless than it would be where you just release the father into to the household, or you just let the child go there and they're just doing their regular visits. It has to be parenting that's still involved in that particular program. When you read the book Risen, one of the things that's very important to me and that stick out is we didn't wait. Harriet Tubman didn't wait for no one to set her free. She set herself free. So we have to not wait on no one. We can't accept handouts any longer. We have the power, and we have to be the force that help our people and that establish these programs ourselves. We've been establishing programs since we arrived here in the Americas, and we've been establishing programs that will help us. We've been establishing schools in our communities, and there were slaves that were illiterate, and then they gained their own freedom they gained. It wasn't given to them. And after gaining their freedom, illiterate people started schools so they could educate other African American people so that they won't be uneducated. So we can't wait. We have to step to the forefront of our fight, and we have to put programs in place ourselves. And we can't wait on anyone else, so it has to be you and it has to be me that start these programs.
That's true. You've been watching us on Focus on UTV, and today has been my guest, Mr. Anthony McDonald, and he is the author of Risen, From Jamestown to the White House. And Anthony, before we close today, I would like to know if you have any final words that you would like to give to our viewers, as well as be able to give us information. Where can we pick up a copy of your book at?
You can pick up a copy of Risen, From Jamestown to the White House at www.risenthebook.com. That's www.risenthebook.com. And the last words I want to leave with the guests today, with your audience today, is that fatherhood is one of the single most important things that God has placed on this earth. God written in the very last verse of Malachi 4:6 that God will turn the hearts of the father to their children and the hearts of the children to their father. If not, that he will spit the land with a curse. It's very important that our fathers turn their hearts back to the children. We have to take back control of our homes. As men, we have to learn and understand our roles. We have to learn to understand who our women are, and vice versa. They have to learn to understand who we are. We got to stop fighting over the trivial things and start appreciating one another and start just respecting each other and loving one another.
Well, we'd like to thank you for coming by, and I hope to see more of you as things continue to progress for you. And we thank you for watching Focus on UTV.